The symphonic fairy tale Peter and the Wolf shares some interesting similarities with Darth Vader and the Lord of the Rings movies, and it's in the music. When you think of the movie Jaws, what is the first sound that comes to mind when the shark appears? Or when James Bond pulls off a heroic feat, what do you always hear? If you know these films or countless others, you might recall the music that accompanies them. This is not random. In fact, it's one of the most powerful tools that writers, filmmakers, and composers have used throughout the 20th century to help convey an idea, a character, or a place, and it's called a leitmotif. A leitmotif is a short, constantly recurring musical phrase that is associated with a particular person, idea, or situation. And these aren't just for film. From Baroque musical compositions of Bach to the symphonies of Mozart to contemporary instrumental music of Philip Glass, repetitive leitmotifs have been in musical works for centuries. While leitmotifs have been around for a long time, the 19th century German composer Richard Wagner took leitmotifs to the next level. From his Ring cycle to his epic operas, his compositions were among the first to closely connect a specific melodic phrase with individual characters in a story. When filmmakers started putting sound with images on the screen, the ideas of Wagner started to move into the cinematic landscape as well. The great Hollywood film composer Max Steiner had a very important rule when it came to film music. Every character should have a theme. In the 1930s, Sergei Prokofiev began exploring the leitmotif in a wide range of his works. He was one of Russia's most versatile composers. He melded sounds from classical, romantic, and modern, and everything from the piano sonata to the film score. His leitmotifs can be heard in things like Romeo and Juliet, and Cinderella. But then there's Peter and the Wolf.
Peter and the Wolf is an incredibly famous piece of music that is originally designed to be a great story for kids, but also a way of introducing kids to the instruments of the orchestra.
Prokofiev's most famous composition, recorded hundreds of times in a variety of different languages and narrated by the likes of David Bowie, Bill Clinton, and Sophia Loren.
My dear children, young and old, each character of this tale is represented by an instrument in the orchestra. This is Peter.
If you're playing Peter's theme, which is very innocent and bright and open, so you want to play with that character and that feeling, or if you're, the grandpa, it's a very curmudgeon type character, and it's very gruff and rough. So you almost physically play that way to express that character. Just how a dancer would have their movements match the character, we kind of move that way too when you're playing.
So for me, Peter and the Wolf begins and ends with the score. I think it's just a wonderful experience, especially for kids, so that they can start to see how maybe next time they listen to a piece of Mozart that doesn't have quite as obvious a storyline, but they could maybe feel something or tell themselves a story. And it's just, you have to learn those skills, but once you do, it opens up this world of opportunity where you can hear a wide variety of music that, that will tell you some kind of story, evoke some kind of feeling. I think that it trains your ear to recognize, whether it's things like melodies and themes, or rhythm, or just tone, or a cultural resonance that a type of music might have that helps you to imagine or, again, tell some kind of story.
Peter and the Wolf is a wonderful introduction to the idea of leitmotifs. And picking out the violins or the oboe and seeing how it represents different characters opens the doors to deepening your understanding of many other artistic works. The next time you sit and listen to a ballet, an opera, a film, or even a video game, listen for those repeated themes and see if they change your association with that work of art.